Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I am Saima Tanuli with the Civics lecture number 2. We will be doing chapter number 1, and in that we will be doing different topics which will be from page number 2 of your book till page number 8. Nature, scope, subject matter. We have seen that the origin of civics as an organized social science can be traced back to the ancient Greek city-states. Greeks understood civics in a very broad sense. Basically, they were the pioneers of statesmanship, and they were the pioneers of good governance and good ruling and all those things. Origin of civics is traced back to the Greeks. Greek masters like Aristotle, that is from 384 till 322 BC. Greek states were small states inhabited by few individuals. As we have discussed previously, that at that time the population was less and the Greek city-states were small city-states with mountainous area which were unsurpassable, and few people inhabited those Greek city-states. These were the states which were having all the attributes or characteristics of being a modern state system. They were basically less complex and complicated, as there was less population, not much of population, and at the same time easy to govern, easy to rule. According to the great Greek masters like Aristotle and Plato, according to Plato, he said that the most favorable number for population is that is 40 to 50 population, and on the other hand Aristotle used to say that the most favorable number of population is 10,000 people, including having 10,000 people. So with the passage of time, civics has transferred itself from a simple to a more complicated and complex science, as with the increase in population and different things, there were more complications and complexities. Today it covers the whole range of knowledge regarding civic institutions. It starts from family and local bodies and encompasses vast states and international institutions. Organized civic institutions are rooted deep into history, and they are looking forward to build a more comfortable future for humanity. Civics in this way became a systematic study of civic institutions as they have been, or they could be, or they are, and as they would be or should be. That is the reason that civics has broadened its horizon from the local governments or from the small states to larger states, or we can say modern states. Thus it has become a very systematic science which helps us to know about good governance, good citizenship and all that. Historic study of the development of theories and civic institutions. If we study the historical aspect of civics, it basically helps us to study the previous or the ancient kind of states or civic institutions that were there. So this further helps for making a modern and a better state system. Study of the civics and political institutions as they operating in the world, that is of present time, of the past, the present, and the study of the prospects of cultural development that will be in the future. So if we study the historical aspect of civics is something which helps us to know about the past, present and future. Geographical aspect. Study of the local, village, town and city level institutions. That was in the beginning, the small state system, the ancient state system which was there. But again, with the modernization and urbanization and expansion of areas and territories and the state, it further increased itself, and the study of the state related institutions was more modernized and more enhanced. Study of international and global institutions, वही जो मैंने आपको बताया था कि civics starts from local governments and ends up into the international institutions, like it starts from the panchayat and goes till your United Nations. Subject matter, that is, what is the subject matter of civics? Social aspect of the civic life, that what type of life should be there in a social setup, what are the moral and the ethical aspects of the civic life, that how we will be behaving, how we will be interacting with other people. As I have told you, that it is basically the science of socializing, or science of interacting with other people. Political aspect of the civic life, that is, according to a state, we have these four aspects of the state, in which political aspect is something that deals with the system of governance, that is, when an individual is self governing himself, how he should be behaving in the society. Economic aspect of the civic life, that how we should be economically building ourselves, and at the same time we will be building the nation. Significance and utility. Civics is the study of man in the process of socializing himself, just like political science is the science or the process of governing himself in that. But in civics, man is basically socializing himself as a member of a civil society or a state. When he becomes a member as a bona fide citizen of a state, he is supposed, and he is given certain duties and obligations to which he is supposed to follow. Thus, it is a science associated with liberal education. Now, what is this liberal education? A liberal education is meant to prepare individuals to think more clearly about themselves and about their relationship with others, to be more tolerant of diversity. Diversity is the differences. To be less hasty in their judgment. Hasty when you make quick and fast decisions. When you are judgmental or you are making decisions, you should be rational. आप सोच समझ के फैसले करते हैं. Of the unfamiliar, and to get more meaning out of life regardless of where they are and what they do. So we can say that this liberal education tells us and teaches us how to behave in a society, how to interact with other people, how to respect their rights, how to look after their rights, and at the same time protect our rights in return. It tells us to be tolerant, it tells us to be fair, and it tells us to be moderate in our behavior with others. Again, cultivation of good citizenship. A study of civics helps create civic sense and political wisdom in a citizen. आप जो civics के student हैं, you should be more obedient, more law abiding as compared to other people of the state or the youth, as you are the student of civics. Civics आपको क्या teach करती है? It teaches you to be a good citizenship. It basically inculcates this attributes of good citizenship into you, जिससे you have this sense of political wisdom. A student of civics becomes aware of his duties towards the state and his fellow citizens. Civics create in him awareness about his rights. It tells him about the history of the civil society and development of state and government. It enables a citizen to have a better understanding of the social and political system he or she is operating in, and contribute positively towards the stability and progress of the political system. Being a member of a state, we are supposed to be the law abiding citizen of the state. We should be the one who will be developing our state politically, economically, socially. मैंने आपको पहले भी बताया था कि बेसिकली एन इंडिविजुअल जो है उसकी लाइफ के 4 एस्पेक्ट्स होते हैं, जिसमें उसकी बिलीफ है, जिसमें उसका रिलीजन आता है, उसी के मुताबिक उसकी सोशल लाइफ है, उसकी इकोनॉमिक्स है, उसकी पॉलिटिक्स है. सो वी कैन से that state is a magnified form of a individual. So as being an individual of a state or a bona fide citizen of a state and a student of civics, we should be more conscious, more aware about the rules and regulation which we have to follow as being the citizen of a state. Next is establishment of an enlightened society. Now what is enlightenment? Enlightenment is basically your ability when you can differentiate between what is right and wrong, जिसको कहते हैं आगही होना, शऊर होना. और वो किस में होगा? एक एजुकेटेड रैशनल इंटेलिजेंट पर्सन में. तो आप में सिविक्स क्या इनकलकेट करती है, क्या डालती है? दैट इज़ एस्टेब्लिशमेंट ऑफ एन एनलाइटेंड सोसाइटी. सिटीजन्स आर द स्टफ सोसाइटी इज़ मेड ऑफ. आपकी कहते हैं जैसी आवाम होगी वैसी, जैसी रियाया होगी वैसा हुक्मरान होगा. तो जो भी आपकी रियाया होगी, दैट इज़ दे शुड बी people of enlightened wisdom. Quality of society is directly related with the quality of citizenship. वही सोसाइटी बनेगी जैसे लोग होंगे. Only enlightened citizens can make an enlightened society. पढ़े लिखे, बाशऊर, आगही रखने वाले, सोच और अक्ल व फहम रखने वाले जो लोग हैं वो एक अच्छी सोसाइटी बनाएंगे. अब आप में आगही, शऊर, अक्ल कैसे आएगी? दैट इज़ through education. And how many kinds of education are there? There are 2 kinds of education. That is the informal education which you gather from your home when you are born. कहते हैं कि आपकी जो माँ की गोद है वो सबसे पहला आपकी दर्सगाह है. और उसके बाद आपकी formal education which starts from your educational institute when you take admission in an institute for a specific period of time and get your desired degrees or certificates. So these 2 types of education basically enlightens the individual, and thus in return those individuals enlightens the society. Next is what we can say civics inculcate डालती है, आप में एक शऊर डालती है, आप में एक अच्छी शहरियत डालती है. आपकी स्टडी ऑफ सिविक्स, इसका क्या सिग्निफिकेंस है, इसकी क्या यूटिलिटी है, दैट इज़ मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट. दैट इज़ ऑर्डरिंग ऑफ लॉयल्टी. That is, society is a network of diverse and varied human interactions. Different kinds of people interact with each other. A citizen is not only the member of the state. There are a number of other associations like the family. आपकी पहली association, your pressure groups like in your college when you are studying or you are in teenage, you have these peer groups जो आपके प्रेशर ग्रुप्स बनते हैं, जिनके मुताबिक भी आप अपनी लाइफ को लेके चलते हैं. Cultural associations, educational institutes, political parties and international associations of which a citizen is a member, and all of them demand a degree of allegiance and loyalty from him. So these are the different kind of system or through which you are ordering your loyalty, first from your home, then from your institutes, then from your working environment, and then from the nation as a whole. Success of democracy. Now how can we achieve this success of democracy? First of all, what is democracy? As demo means people and cracy means the study. Democracy is the we can say democracy is basically the rule of not the study but the rule of people. That is democracy, in which the people rule and they make their own decisions to make a government. गुड सिटीजनशिप इज़ द पैरामाउंट प्री रिक्विजिट ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी. एक अच्छी सिटीजनशिप, शहरियत की जो है वो पहली रिक्वायरमेंट है अच्छी डेमोक्रेटिक रूल ऑफ द पीपल होने के लिए, डेमोक्रेटिक स्टेट होने के लिए. Democracy cannot flourish without the educated, enlightened, conscientious, tolerant, well-informed citizenship. Creating a democratic citizenship is the main objective of the study of civics. Study of civics का main objective ही ये है कि हम एक democratic citizenship दें जिसमें हमारे लोग जो हैं वो बाशऊर हों, educated हों, well informed हों, and at the same time they are moderate and tolerant for each other. Only then we will be having a good citizenship and a good governance. अच्छी हुक्मरानी और अच्छी शहरियत, that goes hand in hand. Then inculcation of moral values. Inculcation मैंने आपको बताया when something is through habits, through different instructions, something is put into you or given to you which you keep on following, जो आप habitually चीज़ों को फॉलो करना शुरू करते हैं. जैसे हमारे घर में बच्चों की जब हम तरबियत करते हैं, छोटे बच्चों की, तो हम उन्हें सबसे पहले ये सिखाते हैं इनफॉर्मल एजुकेशन में कि बड़ों को सलाम करें, बड़ों की इज़्ज़त करें, छोटों के साथ प्यार करें और एक दूसरे की इज़्ज़त करें और घर आए लोगों का एहतराम करें. तो ये डिफरेंट moral values inculcate की जाती हैं through habits and through daily routine in a individual, in a child. So civics, what does it do? It inculcates moral values in us. Civics is a normative science. ये एक ऐसी साइंस है which basically normative science जो होती है, that is not that much we can say प्रैक्टिकल इन द वे जिसको हम फिज़िकली चेक कर सकते हैं या देख सकते हैं, लाइक द नेचुरल साइंसेस. आप एक्सपेरिमेंट्स कर रहे हैं केमिस्ट्री लैब में या फिज़िक्स लैब में, दोज थिंग्स आर देयर. बट इन सोशल साइंसेस which are called the normative sciences, these experiments are in a way done, ऐसे किए जाते हैं कि वो through your behavior, your conduct, वो चीज़ें सामने नज़र आती हैं कि आपको किस किस्म की आपकी अपब्रिंगिंग की गई, आपको किस किस्म की तरबियत दी गई. वो जो एक अच्छी मॉरल वैल्यूज़ हैं जब किसी इंसान में नज़र आती हैं, तो दैट प्रूव्स दैट उनकी फैमिली ने उनकी अच्छी तरबियत की, अच्छी अपब्रिंगिंग हुई, एंड दैट इज़ अ टाइम पीरियड विच टेक ईयर्स, एंड थ्रू डिफरेंट रूटीन्स एंड हैबिट्स आप में वो आते डेवलप हो जाती हैं. तो ये नॉर्मेटिव साइंस में आ जाती हैं, विच आर ओनली बी ऑब्जर्व्ड विद द पैसेज ऑफ टाइम एंड थ्रू कंडक्ट एंड बिहेवियर. तो inculcation of moral values is, civics is a normative science. It tells us about the good and bad of things. Civics aims at producing the citizens of high moral character and disposition. अच्छे शहरी होना, अच्छे moral character वाले लोग होना, character building उनकी होना. It wants to rid the human race of greed and violence. Greed and violence only leads to destruction and are the बैड थिंग्स, अच्छी चीज़ें नहीं हैं. कहते हैं कि इफ़ यू रीप वर्चू यू विल रीप, इफ़ यू सो वर्चू यू विल रीप ऑनर. यानी आप अगर जो बोगे वही काटोगे. आप अगर इज़्ज़त, आप अच्छी करेक्टरिस्टिक्स, अच्छी एट्रीब्यूट्स को उनके बीज बोएंगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली यू विल रीप, यानी आप क्या काटेंगे, यू विल रीप रिस्पेक्ट एंड ऑनर. कहते हैं ना, एज यू सो शैल यू रीप, जैसा बोगे वैसा काटोगे. तो आप अगर अच्छी एक वैल्यूज़ अपने अंदर डालते हैं, आप जो ये चीज़ें अपने अंदर लाते हैं, ये बीज बोने के बराबर ही होता है ना. तो उसी तरह व्हेन यू विल बी इनकलकेटिंग गुड मॉरल वैल्यूज़ इनटू योरसेल्फ, यू विल प्रूव टू बी अ गुड सिटीजन एंड अ गुड ह्यूमन. सो a student of civics learns how to perform his or her duties honestly and obediently, and how to render selfless service to the fellow human beings. In my first introductory lecture I have told you one thing also. I have told you three things. In that, one of the thing was to be honest with yourself. If you are honest with yourself, believe me, you will be successful in life. इंसान अपना खुद सबसे ज़्यादा अच्छा बेहतर जजमेंट और एक तरह से अपने आप को देख सकता है कि वो क्या अच्छा कर रहा है, क्या गलत कर रहा है. तो अगर आप ऑनेस्ट होंगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली यू विल सक्सीड इन लाइफ. देन नेक्स्ट पॉइंट जो हमारे सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ यूटिलिटी ऑफ सिविक्स में आता है, दैट इज़ प्रमोशन ऑफ इंटरनेशनल कोऑपरेशन. That is, advancement of science and technology has brought the people of the world so close to each other that no community or nation can now afford to live in total seclusion or in total independence from one another. We are supposed to be interdependent. हमारे लिए ज़रूरी है कि हम एक दूसरे के साथ डिपेंडेंट हों. हम टोटली seclusion में, isolation में नहीं रह सकते. आइसोलेशन इज़ ओनली फॉर गॉड और फॉर द बीस्ट. या तो अल्लाह ताला आइसोलेशन में है और रह सकता है, या फिर कोई वहशी जानवर. इंसान जो है, ही इज़ अ सोशल एनिमल, ही नीड्स टू इंटरेक्ट. सो एट द सेम टाइम वी नीड टू हैव इंटरेक्शन विद अदर स्टेट्स. सो with this advancement of science and technology, दुनिया जो है, it has turned into a global village. We need to interact with other states. We should be friendly. Modern man who is the citizen of the so-called global village is bound to live in harmony and peace with his fellow human beings. His interest and interaction is not limited to the citizens of his own state. It rather encompasses the whole of the mankind. Knowledge of civics inculcates in a citizen the global outlook necessary for creating international cooperation for peace. That is, for peaceful coexistence or for a new world order. We should be working in harmony at not only at the local or national level, but at the same time on the international level as well. जिसके लिए बहुत सारी organizations, रीजनल एंड इंटरनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस बनाई गई हैं, लाइक सार्क, OIC और आपकी ECO, यूनाइटेड नेशंस, जिसके थ्रू हम, जिन प्लेटफॉर्म्स के थ्रू हम एक दूसरे की ज़िंदगी को कल्चरली, एजुकेशनली, साइंटिफिकली बेहतर बनाने में मदद कर सकते हैं. सो सिविक्स का जो हॉराइज़न है, इट्स वेरी ब्रॉड. Relationship of civics with other social sciences. Now, what that will be? As we know, all social sciences are closely linked together. They are normative. Basically, they deal with human individuals. As the common subject matter in all these normative or social sciences is the collective human life. What that should be. Social scientists are of the opinion that it is always useful for the proper understanding of a particular field of study to establish its relationship with other closely related sciences with a purpose to see clearly. हमारा जो purpose है, according to Sedgwick, he observes what elements of its reasoning it has to take from them and what in its turn it may claim to give them. That is, the relationship between all the social sciences, that is, एक तो वो collectively deal करते हैं human life के साथ, subject matter एक ही है. Either it is the economics, either it is the political science, psychology, or we can say civics, or any other, sociology or any other subject. And at the same time, these social sciences, they are helping each other in solving the or bringing a kind of a good result for human individual. इंसानों के लिए जो ये sciences हैं, how they interact with each other and resolve many of the psychological, political, economical or social issues of an individual. Now, according to Sedgwick, he says how these different, we can say, sciences can help each other. आपकी इकोनॉमिक्स आपको क्या सिखाएगी, आपकी पॉलिटिकल साइंस आपको क्या बताएगी, एंथ्रोपोलॉजी आपको क्या बताएगी, सोशियोलॉजी क्या बताएगी. सो दीज आर इंटरडिपेंडेंट on each other, all these sciences. Civics relationship with political science. Now, what is political science? I have told you that political science is the process of man in the process of governing himself. Or when we talk about civics, we can say that civics is the process in which the man is socializing with other human beings. They are considered as two sister sciences because they resemble a lot. Both civics and political science are derived from the same source, that is they have the same source, that is the state, रियासत. उसमें आपने कैसे हुकूमत करनी है और शहरियों ने कैसे रहना है, that is the same thing. Or we can say two faces of the same coin, which is dealing basically with the state. Both deal with the same subject matter, that is man in the process of governing himself in political science, and man in the process of socializing with other human beings in civics. Political science has a wider scope. When we talk about political science is something which mainly focuses on the state, while on the other hand civics targets at the individual who naturally is the citizen of that state. Political science aims at building a better state and ultimately a better world. Civics helps political science by promoting better citizenship and better citizen association. So that is something which go hand in hand, कि आपकी अच्छे शहरियत होगी तो आपके पास अच्छी हुक्मरानी भी होगी. So political science and civics, that is the reason they are considered as two sister sciences. Civics relationship with history, what that will be. Now, according to Iqbal, history is the memory of a nation. किसी भी nation की जो memory है, that is its history. Either it is उसकी sources क्या हैं. Sources are of two types, that is the primary and the secondary. Primary source is the one in which each and every event is chronologically recorded, like in the courts of previous Mughal emperor. वहाँ पे historians बैठा करते थे और वो तारीख़ लिखते जाते थे जो कुछ भी होता था, तो वो प्राइमरी सोर्सेज थी. सेकेंडरी सोर्सेज आर दोज इन विच एक पर्सन से दूसरे पर्सन को नरेट की जाती हैं डिफरेंट इवेंट्स और उनको फिर ट्रांसफ़र किया जाता है फ्रॉम वन जनरेशन टू अनदर. Now, what will be the relationship between history and civics? Their relationship is very intimate, that is very close. Because a major portion of history is the narration of civic life and of the civic institutions as they have emerged and progressed in the past, foremost amongst these institutions being the state. आपकी स्टेट में जो भी डिफरेंट इवेंट्स हुए उनको रिकॉर्ड किया गया, वो आपकी हिस्ट्री में आर्काइव्स में आ जाते हैं, एंड दे आर देयर इन द फॉर्म ऑफ न्यूज़पेपर और न्यूज़ journals or all those things. It is only history that can furnish a student with necessary material about civic institutions. हमारी जो historical records हैं in our archives, they are the one. आर्काइव्स वो जगह जहाँ पे डिफरेंट न्यूज़पेपर्स ऑफ डिफरेंट टाइम्स रिकॉर्ड में रखे जाते हैं, जिससे आप डिफरेंट डेट्स को और डेट्स में क्या इवेंट्स अकर हुए उनको देख सकते हैं. अब वी हैव अनदर फॉर्म ऑफ दैट इज़ थ्रू इंटरनेट. यू कैन फाइंड आउट ऑल दोज थिंग्स. तो ये जो हिस्ट्री है, इट हेल्प्स अ लॉट and it gives a lot of assistance to these civic students to find out what in the past different states has taken decision in different times. History and civics are so intimate and interdependent that we cannot say that they are able to survive without each other. They are meaningless when separated from each other. क्योंकि थ्रू द हिस्टोरिकल रिकॉर्ड्स आप अपनी प्रेजेंट सिविक सिचुएशन को, अपनी स्टेट की एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को बेहतर कर सकते हैं फॉर फ्यूचर. Civics become rootless without the help of history, and history in turn has much to borrow from civics and her sister sciences, the science of politics. History and civics is something that is strongly linked together. History and civics are so intimate and interdependent, as I have told you, that there will be no existence of today's world if we don't have the knowledge about the past. Even in our Islamic jurisprudence or Islamic law, हमारे कोई ऐसे प्रेजेंट डे कंटेम्प्रेरी स्टेट में कोई इश्यूज आते हैं तो वी टेक आउट द प्रीवियस नॉलेज और प्रीवियस रिकॉर्ड्स फ्रॉम द प्रीवियस स्कॉलर्स, और उसके थ्रू इज्तिहाद के थ्रू हम अपने मौजूदा मसाइल को, स्टेट के हुकूमती मसाइल को हल कर लेते हैं. हिस्ट्री इज़ मोर प्रिसाइज एंड कॉन्क्रीट एज कम्पेयर टू दैट ऑफ civics. History deals with facts and events. आपके पास chronologically recorded form में history is well preserved, either in the primary source form or in the secondary source form. While civics talks about ideas, its domain is partially speculative and abstract. आपकी जो civics है, it is something which gives you ideas. Speculation is when you think about certain things, what the future will be, and that is something which is in abstract form, जो आपकी thinking में है. According to each and every individual, abstract थिंकिंग जो है अपनी अपनी सबकी एक अपनी ऑब्जर्वेशन है, अपनी एक थिंकिंग है. कॉन्क्रीट इज़ समथिंग दैट इज़ इन अ सॉलिड फॉर्म. जैसे वी हैव दिस वॉल इन अ रूम, दैट इज़ कॉन्क्रीट, दैट इज़ सॉलिड, दैट इज़ there. So history is more precise, that is clear and concrete, that it has everything in itself in the form of evidence with dates and events chronologically. जबकि civics जो है इसमें its domain is broad, इसकी बहुत बड़ी domain है. We have ideas about a better world and for a better future world, but at the same time it is abstract. Abstract जैसे एक पेंटिंग होती है, एब्स्ट्रैक्ट आर्ट आपने कभी देखा होगा, जिसमें हैप-हैज़र्ड लाइंस आती हैं और चीज़ें ड्रॉ की जाती हैं, एंड हूसोएवर इज़ वाचिंग इट, हर बंदा जो उसे देखेगा वो अपनी एक व्यू देखेगा. किसी को कोई उसमें रेनबो नज़र आएगी, किसी को उसमें कोई सनलाइट नज़र आएगी या कोई सीनरी नज़र आएगी. तो इट इज़ अकॉर्डिंग टू ईच इंडिविजुअल्स परसेप्शन or observation that he takes out his own idea. Just like that, civics जो है, it only provides us with ideas and speculations and thinking कि future world कैसी हो सकती है, उसको हम कैसे बेहतर scientifically अगर लेके चलें तो हम और modern टेक्नोलॉजी में कैसे जा सकते हैं. जैसे one time ये कहा जाता था कि एक वक्त ऐसा आएगा कि हम फ़ोन पे बात करेंगे तो हम एक दूसरे को देख सकेंगे. सो दिस इज़ नाउ व्हाट इट इज़ हैपनिंग थ्रू दीज वीडियो कॉल्स. तो दीज आर द डिफरेंट स्पेकुलेशंस और आइडियाज़ which this science of civics gives us. So there is a close, we can say, interaction between history and civics. Inshallah, in my next lecture we will be studying the relation of civics with economics, sociology and ethics. Thank you very much and have a nice day.